Pastor Alex here. Hey, it's Friday morning. I think it's June 12th. I just want to discuss something and respond to a few messages I've received about the whole Black Lives Matter movement and the saying Black Lives Matter. And let me just speak on it a little bit. I'm not an expert, but I've done a little research on this. So there's two things to think about. First of all, the Black Lives Matter movement. Let me speak on that. That was started by three ladies. I think they were all moms. And man, they just wanted to bring awareness to the fact that Black people were being killed. It was in response to the Trayvon Martin murder by George Floyd. I think that was in 2012. So they started this movement just saying, hey, see us, hear us, we're here, we matter. And one of the girls, Patrice Kalours, I read her book, and it just kind of explains a little bit about her background. I just like to read about people that I don't know, just to hear their stories. And so I did that. And then we had, so Black Lives Matter was there 2012, but then it went big national really after Ferguson in 2013. And Hands Up, Don't Shoot with Black Lives Matter. There just seemed to be a whole slew of these killings of Black people. And so this movement came out. The movement is good. I mean, the slogan Black Lives Matter came from that. And I want to talk about that in just a moment. But when you look at the organization, people take issue to that. And I've had a lot of emails like, what about this organization? I hear they're a terrorist organization. Well, I kind of know where that came from. I think it's right after the Eric Garner case where he couldn't breathe. And I don't remember what year that was, maybe 2015 or so. One of the New York chapters of Black Lives Matter was walking around the streets chanting, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want it now? We actually write about this in our book. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, nobody should want dead cops and want it now. And I would imagine, and I can't speak for these people, that that's not something that Black Lives Matter as a whole wanted to happen. And so now the whole organization, I have a lot of people, a lot of white people sending me stuff. Fox News talked about this. I think it was Sean Hannity. It's a terrorist organization. Yeah, that was said, and that shouldn't have been said. I don't know if Black Lives Matter organizations come out to renounce that, but that was silly. But I'll say this, I don't think you can throw out the whole organization just because one chapter did something silly. If that's the case, then we'd all be for defunding the police, which we're not. I mean, so you can't throw it all out. But now here's another thing. It's become very political in that a lot of their funds that they get, I believe they get $100 million from liberal organizations like George Soros or the Clinton Foundation, people that fund their operation. And so I know a lot of people that aren't liberal would be like, hey, well, see, there you go. It's a liberal thing, but it doesn't make it a terrorist organization. And it doesn't mean that everything that they do is all bad. Now, I understand why people don't like that. I think that their mission was hijacked when it came to money, receiving money. Money pushes agenda. And so their organization was hijacked. I understand why some people don't like it, but they're not a terrorist organization. Now, put that aside, the slogan Black Lives Matter, they're forever linked because Black Lives Matter organization and the slogan kind of go hand in hand. But we can look at, and I've had a lot of people say, well, is it okay for me to say Black Lives Matter with the slogan and not support everything that the organization stands for? That's a tricky one, but I think that you can because Black lives do matter. And then people that have an issue with that, and I know some people do. I got a lot of white friends that send me messages or talk to me. Well, don't all lives matter? And I've shared this a little bit, but let me just give you this, and I'll give you this analogy. I've heard a lot of good ones out there. We have 5 kids. At some point in time, one of our kids may need more time, attention, and energy or effort from us than the other ones. And at that point in time, that kid matters to me. And I should be able to hug that kid in front of my other kids and love on them and take them out for ice cream and spend more time with them without my other kids going, but don't I matter? I mean, we as a country have to have a little bit more maturity. And I'm going to say this as the majority culture, and I'm talking to white people, and you guys know I love white people. My wife's white. My kids are half white. But the bottom line is this. The majority culture that has had society, laws, culture and the system set up in your favor for so long, there's an outcry from black and brown people going, come on, man, don't we matter here? We cannot, and I say this to my individual white brothers and sisters, don't take it personal. No one is saying that you don't matter. You do matter. You matter to God, you matter to us. But what we're saying is let's take some time and focus on the systemic nature of black people that seem to be systematically oppressed by the police and the force that we're seeing. And it's so caught on tape. And people go, well, what about the killings in Chicago? Shouldn't they take care of their own self? That's stupid and that's offensive. Of course, black people shouldn't kill themselves. But by saying, well, what about taking care of this first? That shows a nature of, bias. Yeah, no one should kill anybody and black people shouldn't kill anyone. But when you're talking about police that are taking oath to serve and protect, they should never be killed, and so we just have to stop and look at these things and stop formulating arguments and try to be sympathetic to hearing what people say. This is a time where just like one of my kids just recently had a hard time with this COVID thing and with our move. And Angie and I just had to spend extra time with him, just loving him, hugging on him, taking him out for ice cream, telling him how wonderful he was. Angie would sit on the couch and hug with him. And we wanted him to know that he mattered. All the other kids know they matter too. But at that time, we had to give him special time and attention. So we got to settle this thing in our heart. Stop looking at the arguments and rebuttals of how we can refute certain things. And let's just start loving. Let's start empathizing. Let's seek first to understand before being understood. That's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey. So hopefully this sheds some light on the deal there, the Black Lives Matter organization, and even the Black Lives Matter statement, movement, whatever you want. So that's all I got for you this time. Check us out on Facebook. If you haven't liked our ministry, do that. We really need your help and support. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing right now. Thank you to all of our monthly supporters. You guys make it possible for us to be able to do content and present stuff like this and to do the research and to have conversations with people. So thank you. A lot of this stuff we discuss in our book too. Let's Start Again. If you don't have that, go to alexbryant.org and order your copy. They're $15. Get a copy for yourself and a friend, a pastor, whoever. But help us get this message out. We want to keep producing content. Alex Bryant Ministry is all about reconciling ourselves unto God, ourselves and each other. And we do it through media, spoken, and written content. So thanks for supporting us. Like it, share it. God bless you. Word.